Hello, hello, Aries. Welcome to your May 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aries. And I don't have my normal filming setup at this time, so I'm not able to speed shuffle, but just go ahead and notice anything that's coming up in your body. Take a deep breath into the diaphragm. If you'd like to request some information come up in this reading, just make that now. And then don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to get more of these videos. And I hope you guys enjoy. All of the decks that I'm using for this reading are listed in the description box as always. So if you want to get your hands on them or any of them, you're welcome to head on down to the description box and take a look. And then I'm going to lay out this timeline and then we'll dive right in. Okay, last quarter. Okay, now I'm going to pull a truth bomb first. So the first thing coming up for you is your body is a miracle. Really working on honoring the body to the best of your ability at this point in time. It's probably going to be a good month to, if you've been wanting to start like maybe taking better care of your body or implementing like a routine for self-care in terms of your physical body, this is a good month to do that and to implement that. And then also making sure you're showing gratitude for your body. It's working really hard. It does a lot of stuff each and every day, you know, so it's like just being embodied and even having a body to begin with is a miracle in itself. So let's see the animal card that comes up for you. We have earthworm, grounding, so movement is really going to help that, especially with that your body is a miracle card making an appearance. It just puts a lot of emphasis on doing things that help you stay embodied. You want to be embodied. When you go out of body, then anything is possible. It's absolute chaos. So it's about like hooking into your joints, being grounded, being stable, kind of securing and anchoring yourself into present time and focusing on those activities that are going to create that for you, even in times of what might look like some instability. Okay, and then the word of the month is vitality. Protect your energy, invite life-affirming relationships, release energy vampires, honor your body's requests. Okay, so that means listening to your body, showing respect for your body, focusing on things that are going to ground you into your body. And so I think we're already starting to see a theme here. And this is all going to lead towards you having more energy and, in essence, being able to use more of it. So the central energy for you is the Nine of Pentacles, enjoying the fruits of your labor. I think there's a lot of stuff that you've probably been working on that has paid off well, and so now it might be maybe you worked really hard and you were exerting yourself in a lot of ways for maybe some career focus or a project that you have going or academia even. And so now it's like, okay, you want to pivot that and start getting back into your body. It's like, great, you did that, but you don't want to be on high stress for too long or be overexerting yourself for too long. And so this is now the month where you're going to be grounding. And then what you have shifting out is the King of Swords. I might clarify this, but let me check and see what the oncoming energy is first. We have the Three of Wands. So this is interesting. I think this is a very natural progression. Like this bridge that I'm seeing is really interesting. So here's the deal. It looks like there was probably a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas, a lot of like interest that you were giving. Then it's like, okay, execution, reward, now what? Because the Three of Wands makes us ask that question. It's okay, great, now what? You've been there, done that. You had success with this, that, and the other thing, or you're working on building this, that, and the other thing. You need to check in with your motive. You need to check in with your focus. You need to check in and see, is this thing that you're building truly in alignment with you, or did you max out on the benefit that you got from it? Remember that just because you spend a lot of time or energy building something doesn't mean you don't have permission to shift or change your mind or evolve out of that state. So let me see, to clarify the Three of Wands, we have the Fool. Doing things you've never done before, taking risks. The Three of Wands is kind of a risk-taking card, but it's risk-taking in terms of vision, which is a lot of the time where people stop their creative power. They're like, well, it's not realistic, or, you know, other people have certain attributes that can get them there, but not me. You know, if there's any limiting beliefs like that, remember that, you know, one, count your successes in the past. That's a really good way to kind of remind yourself of what your potential is. But then there's also like the risk taking with the Three of Wands is like the trick is to not sell yourself short or give up before you even start, because you have a story around what it is that you're able to accomplish without even having tried yet. So that's going to be the one challenge that comes up, where you can really use that energy to push through to the other side. But it requires the Fool, which is the feeling and experience of stepping off a cliff. Okay, and that's typically not fun for a lot of people. But it's necessary. And so I'm just seeing this as like all of the good stuff lives outside of that limitation or that uncertainty, because no matter how successful you are, no matter what you've overcome, no matter what level you're at, there's always going to be like new tiers to break into, right? It's a constant evolution of mapping out your next steps, seeing what it is that you want to build and construct. That's an ongoing process for a lifetime. And I don't know anyone who really stops that. I mean, people go unconscious, but nobody who's conscious really stops that process. So it's okay to improvise. It's okay to edit. It's okay to, you know, make adjustments where necessary. So just check in with that and see how you feel. Like maybe you've mastered something, or maybe you like got to a destination that you thought you would be happy at, but then you realize it's not delivering what you thought it would. Now, these cards up here, this is like what's outside of your control. So people, places, things, as well as what the external world is reflecting back to you in the month of May. Ooh, the Star. I love this card. It's so pretty. So there's a lot that you're not going to have permission to see this month. That's one thing that's really frustrating about the Star, is that it's like, no, you can't see everything. You're going to have faith. That's the necessary condition for the Star to really work out and come up full force. Now let me see what else we have. We have Strength. Okay, so this is really showing you that if there is something that you're wanting or desiring, or that you're, you know, making happen, you're going to need to bridge together these two elements, which is like personal power, which I think you're seeing in the external, like your endurance. Like I said, going back and tallying, like how many successes have you had? What have you done well? Like, even if nobody compliments you on anything that you do well, it's like, create them. You have to be able to put a value judgment on that for yourself. So go through, do that so that you can see it in the external, because it exists. It doesn't need to be validated by someone else. You kind of have to project what you want onto it. And so then the other thing is like, you're not going to be able to see where you're going to land necessarily. You just have to trust the process. And that's what this is showing. It's like the external is 100% in favor and working for you, even with obstacles, even with challenges, even with tragedy. You know, that's a part of the human experience. But aside from that, it seems like this is setting you up for success in the month of May. And again, remember, I'm looking at this as what's not in your control. This is just like the way the cards are stacked in the month of May. And you get the Star and the Strength card. Yeah, don't be mad at this, that's for sure. So let's see what's going on underneath this. So this is like the internal experience, the internal world, things that are within your control. So your perception, your personal power. We have the Five of Pentacles. This is fear-based, limitations, thinking, about the uncertainty, not knowing if you're able to do it, things of that nature. Let me see what else is coming up. We have the Queen of Swords, independent thinking. It's okay if other people don't get it. It's okay if other people aren't, like, let's say, sold on the same things that you are, or if there's limiting beliefs that other people are projecting onto you, that's okay. People can do that. You don't need to buy it as truth. So what the Queen of Swords is saying, or what she models, is protection over your crown. So protection over the information that you receive as true. You're the only one who gets to decide that aside from like childhood programming. When you get into adulthood and you have more conscientiousness over the crown, that's when you start being able to say, okay, I'm skeptical of the information that's coming through. And it gets harder and harder the more conscious and aware you are of your crown. And so the Five of Pentacles down here might be either limiting beliefs that you have had in the past or that are currently still hanging out. This could also be other people's projections onto you of limiting beliefs that they have and that they are projecting. So just remember that just because someone is like expressing concern or, something like that, it may or may not be valid. But at the end of the day, you have to decide. Don't just automatically receive things as true every single time. That's going to get you into hot water. So let me see what else is going on. Clarifying these two, we have the Lovers. Yeah, so this looks like more than likely it's going to be stemming from a connection. And it also kind of begs the question, like, do you have people who are cheerleading around you who are like, yep, do it? And is this your own personal thing that you're kind of hanging on to individually, or is this a projection? And the Lovers is kind of having you ask that question, like, who is this coming from? What is this? Where does it live inside of your mind, body, spirit? And, so do you have people who are cheerleaders, or do you have people who are naysayers around you? The Queen of Swords is going to say, get rid of the naysayers, or simply set more communication boundaries around them. That's what the Queen of Swords would do, and that's what you're learning to do. I am going to focus your attention back to the Vitality card. Invite life-affirming relationships, release energy vampires, and that's what you have going on here. Who in your space is supporting your goals and your endeavors and supporting you, and who is not? And because this is like the cards are stacked right. The Star and the Strength card is actually, this is reality. This is what's sitting on the external. On the internal is where you have the Five of Pentacles. And then the Queen of Swords is like, hey, here's the solution. The solution is to protect your crown. Be a little bit more mindful of what you allow in. It's like discriminate between, people who actually have good information and who don't. Not everyone's insight and information is even valuable. Okay? So it's like, there might be some information that's good for you in a relationship that you have, and there might not be, and you're going to have to go through and sift through it. Now let's go ahead and do the timeline. So if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. And this is the first quarter of May, so the first week-ish of May, second, third, and fourth quarter. This will be where you end the month. So starting off May, we have Justice. A little bit of uncertainty. The thing that's coming through is this blindfold. Like maybe you don't know what your next step should be, or you're not feeling 100% confident with where you're at or what you have going on, or there's just a lot of missing pieces and missing information that you might not have. Let's see what the second quarter is for you. Two of Cups. So this is that connection piece. People are great mirrors for you. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but like when someone says something that like hurts your feelings or that you receive as true, you know, what's happening internally. If your belief system is really strong and someone says something harmful to you, it won't actually inflict harm. It's just gonna like bounce off you like a ping pong ball. And so I think that this is where you can really utilize that. Like, are you around people that when they say something, it feels good and you're able to receive the compliment or the affirmation that they're sharing with you? Is that ringing as true? If someone's trying to cut you down, is that ringing as true? Because it actually, despite the reflection as having, you know, something to do with them, the way you receive it has to do with you. That's your responsibility. And so this is kind of showing, even if you have some uncertainty coming up, the information that you get from other people is going to reflect either what your strength is or where you might have a vulnerability that could be holding you back. Okay, so also, I'm just going to mention this for those of you that are partnership focused, for those of you that really have that going on, I would say that this is a good month to date because you have Star, the Strength card, and the Two of Cups making an appearance. So great dating month, and you have the Lovers on the table. So that's definitely on board. I have love-specific readings, but those are on Patreon. If you want love-specific readings, those come out on the 1st of every month. So I just wanted to address that because I know that there's a lot of you who are probably trying to actively manifest partnership. Okay. Quarter 3, we have the Knight of Wands. So this is Aries, and it's also about taking action and going for it. This is like, okay, you've set yourself up. If you're doing some evaluating, this is going to be where you want to take action and you want to push a little bit more. So that looks really exciting. And then wrapping up the month, we have the Tower. Breakdown, breakthrough. I'm also getting that this is probably somewhat related to the Queen of Swords, as I was talking about earlier, with being able to clear out or get rid of the mindsets, negative belief systems, or whatever it is that that is like holding you back or making you doubt yourself or second guess yourself. Like all of that stuff is probably getting cleaned out if you're actively working on it. So this is working. It's like you have to prove to yourself that you are capable of the things you set your mind to if you struggle with confidence in that area by taking action. Contemplation will not bring you confidence, I promise you. Like, you really have to listen to your body, pay attention to what's going on, and take aligned action. And that's how you're gonna declutter all of the negative beliefs that might be kind of weaseling their way into your mind. Now we're going to do a 3-card pick as usual. So if you're interested in asking a question, you can do that. You can also ask for clarity or guidance or support, whatever it is that you need. Pick as few or as many cards as you'd like. Card number 1, 5 of Vessels. This is 5 of Cups. just because one thing doesn't work or just because there's like some disappointment or a failure doesn't mean you're not going in the right direction. Failure is just more information and remembering how to do things. That's all it is. It's not like sometimes it gives us feedback on, hey, maybe you want to change course or take a different approach or go in a different direction. A lot of the time failure can show us those parts, but it doesn't mean that, you know, it's an indication of how things will always be. So just remember, if you're dealing with any like disappointment or frustration or things aren't going exactly the way you want them to, it's going to be a combination of active manifestation, mindset, and also just looking at the feedback or the information as feedback and information, not anything more, not anything predictive. Not quarter two, but card number 2, we have 2 of arrows. You're not going to know what the direction is until you start taking action. Like that's the bottom line. So don't get stuck in pondering and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. That's not going to help. You want to start applying yourself first and make amendments as you go. That's going to be a good strategy for you, because there's never going to be a guarantee. There's never going to be anything that can absolutely confirm with an absolute. You're never going to get an absolute for something that you haven't attempted yet. The attempt is what brings the information that gives you clarity, and that's where you can really start shaping your decisions. So I would say just pick one, don't overthink, or you can also just like make the move, see what happens, check in. It's like you don't need to worry about making a lifelong commitment to something right away. You can just experiment. Card number 3, we have the Lovers. I really like this card. I think it's cute. So you have connection as being extremely important. Go through, pick and choose, evaluate your relationships, what's life affirming and who's an energy vampire, as this card said. You seriously go through, make decisions based on that. And also, like I said, discriminate against like whose information are you allowing in and receiving is true. Because like I said, not everyone is going to be right for you. You have to decide that. So that's explanation 1. Second thing, I'm going to call your attention if you're looking for love, if you're looking for relationships, it's game on if you picked this card and that's something you're wanting to manifest. If you don't want to manifest it, or that's not something that's a big focus for you, don't worry about it. But for those of you that are wanting or needing that, there you go. You definitely have access to it. So, good month to manifest partnership, good month to date, good month to focus on things connection-based. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. And until next time, have a beautiful, beautiful May. I wish you nothing but good luck. And if you need to work with me one-on-one, all of the links are in the description box. If you'd like weekly sign-specific readings, those are on Patreon. You can check out the link as well. And all of the decks that I've used are in the description box. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.